how is it that we are going to bring in an all-inclusive thing like sandals, which requires that all of this is laid on before they come here? Plus, they will need a tax holiday. And they are sure to ask for something like 24 years, like they did to the poor Antigua government. I won't get into the politics of this, but those issues I brought up, those 5 points are essential, and I am talking about even the basic things that Tobagonians require. We are not getting it. How is it that we are going to supply it for this kind of development? Then we come to the fact that there's a lack of information being shared about this project, and it has fueled discord. In other words, we have been bandying around plans that are contained in this document here, which is the Angostura plan for the estates at Golden Grove and Buku. Okay, and we are saying that that is the Sandals development, okay? Thank you, Mr. Bikari. All right, so we have been showing these pictures in the paper, on the internet, everywhere, and claiming that that is what Sandals is doing. We do not know what Sandals is doing. We have not seen a plan. Nothing is being shared. We are just told, you better get used to it because it's coming. Well, we can't, all right? Thank you. You could pass it around. All right, in order to really understand the status, the situation of this project, we have to go back to the beginning, because the historical facts of this project are important. Okay, and I am going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to go back to 1973, when the Buku Reef was made into a marine park, okay, by law. It is the only marine park in Trinidad and Tobago. And it was declared a protected and restricted area under the Marine Areas Preservation and Enhancement Act of 1970. Okay? That is the law. The Buku Reef Marine Park is protected, and it includes the lagoon. Okay? Now, we all know that Sandals developments, if you've seen any of them, have marinas and all of that, and it is the lagoon which is going to be the crux of this whole argument, because the only place they could put it would be inside that protected lagoon. Okay? Years later, the government of Trinidad and Tobago assented to what is known as the Ramsar Treaty. Ramsar is the name of a city in Iran. It was where 183 governments met worldwide and decided to protect wetlands of international importance. Okay, wetlands being what we call swamps. Okay? We do not respect our wetlands. We treat them as swamps and places that garbage should be thrown into, filled in and built on. And we do it all over the island. Like we build in the Argyle swamp right in the middle of it, which we should not be doing. Okay, and this lagoon, the Bonaccord Lagoon, was declared under the Ramsar Treaty. The government of Trinidad and Tobago signed on to that. What was the year now, Bertrand? 1975. And then it declared the Bonaccord Lagoon and the Buku Reef as a complex and a protected wetland. Okay, so it was declared a Ramsar site in 2005. So from that day, an added protection was given to the Buko Reef Marine Park. Okay, that brought in the mangroves that surround it, right, and the lagoon itself. All right, in other words, above the high water mark. Because the marine park would have gone up to the high water mark and not into the wetlands itself. This Ramsar Treaty and protection provided a protection to the wetlands behind it, which make it critical. And so it became a wetland of international importance. And in Trinidad and Tobago, there are 3 Ramsar sites. One is in Arifa, one is Caroni, and our own Buko Reef Bonaccord Lagoon Complex. Okay? We cannot allow anything to be built within that region. Okay? There will be disastrous happenings if that takes place. Now, many people will say you can't stop a man who has private land behind the wetland from building on it. You can't, but you can make sure that they do not do things that they shouldn't do. In other words, they should not be cutting down the mangrove. So everyone should have an environmental impact assessment for all building in that area, and it needs to be enforced. What we have is a sad lack of law enforcement in this island. We say things and we don't do it. So we have a real problem there. Oh, I have, looking at that plan which you all are passing around, I guess, I know that at the last meeting, it was mentioned that 2,000 rooms were approved in that impact assessment that was done. That's a very generalized statement that took in 3 hotels, 2 in the Golden Grove Estate and 1 on Buko Estate, and masses of villas, all added together, came to 2,000 rooms. But with that certificate of environmental clearance that they were granted in 2006, there were 14 pages of restrictions which prevented anyone from going onto the no man's land area because of the buffer zone. The trees, it said you cannot cut the trees on this sand spit, which no man's land is a sand spit, okay, or headland. It made specific, if anyone goes into the Department of Natural Resources, you can get a copy of that CEC and all of the 14 pages of restrictions. So it made it virtually impossible for the developers to put anything on that spit. They wanted to put 2 beach facilities and several cabanas. That would have been impossible because the EMA asked that they keep 50 meters within that buffer zone. So there wasn't much left of the sand spit after that. And they agreed. Angostura agreed, and I have the exact words here. So, excuse me. That the ecological importance and environmental sensitivity of the area, this rule was to ensure that the tree buffer zone of a minimum of 50 meters from the mean high water mark was maintained to prohibit any activity that would compromise the functionality of that area and reducing negative impacts on the wetland ecosystem. So that was the first thing. They had restrictions. The second part is that they decided to go ahead with building the villas within the Golden Grove area. And then Mr. Orville London, and I must, from the environmental standpoint, it was the best thing that ever happened down there, was that Mr. London decided to introduce the aliens landholding thing saying no investors, foreign. They claimed that Tobago was being bought out by Germans, which was completely false. That was a hoax. Anyway, I don't want to get into the politics of it, right? So as soon as that happened, the investors pulled out. And they were left with a situation. Now, if you are granted a CEC, you have 3 years in order to get activity going wherever the hotels are or whatever. They have done nothing. It expired in 2009, and I know for a fact that it was never renewed. So there's no permission. So they can be shoving this thing in the air about how they have CECs, but they don't. So any new development is going to have to go through the same process, which could take up to 2 years. And then you have the other side of the coin, where the land belongs to Mr. Dupre of Clicquot. So, who has his own plans? He wants to put up a different hotel chain down there. So, quite frankly, I can't see anything happening in the near future. It's going to end up being a court case, and I'm quite happy about that. Because I don't believe that we need that kind of development here. I'm in the hotel business, and I have been to many consultations where the people of Tobago have made it clear that they don't want all-inclusives. All right? I mean, if you look at the Vision 2020 plan, which does have its tourism section, and you read it thoroughly, the Tobago portion of it is very clear on the type of tourism we want. So, we have so many documents and papers, and we don't need more. We need to get serious about what we are doing. And if we are serious about not bringing sandals here, I think people need to get together and object together. No man is an island. You know, so I don't believe that the people on this end of the island, I would say from about Roxborough North, unless they are conscious of what is going on in the whole island, really care about what's going on down at Buku Reef, unless it's a party. So, I mean, I don't want to be negative here, but that is the facts. So, I hope I have helped to fill in the environmental gaps. I can provide statistics on dates and everything through Environment Tobago. We have them detailed because we were at all of those stakeholder consultations.